The 1950s were a time of great tension. The Second World War had just ended, but a new conflict emerged. It was called the Cold War. The United States and the Soviet Union were the main rivals. They competed for global dominance. There was a constant fear of nuclear war. People built bomb shelters and practiced drills in case of an attack. The threat was very real. It loomed over everyday life. The Cold War wasn't just about weapons. It was also about ideas. Capitalism versus communism. Democracy versus authoritarianism. Both sides used propaganda to win hearts and minds. In this atmosphere of mistrust, espionage thrived. Governments relied on spies to gather intelligence. They wanted to know what the other side was doing. The stakes were incredibly high. The fate of the world seemed to hang in the balance. Espionage became vital during the Cold War. Spies operated in the shadows. They gathered information on enemy activities. They were crucial in this era of mistrust. Both sides developed sophisticated spy networks. The United States had the CIA. The Soviet Union had the KGB. These agencies recruited agents and trained them in the art of espionage. Spies used various methods to gather intelligence. They would crack codes, cultivate informants, and might even defect to the other side. Their work was dangerous and often shrouded in secrecy. The information spies gathered was highly valuable. It could influence government decisions and even prevent conflicts. The role of espionage in the Cold War cannot be overstated. It was a high-stakes game of cat and mouse. The consequences of failure were significant. In this climate of Cold War paranoia, Ian Fleming created James Bond. Bond was a British secret agent. He worked for MI6. His mission was to protect Britain and her allies. He often faced threats from the Soviet Union and its allies. Fleming himself had experience in espionage. He worked for British naval intelligence during World War II. This gave him insights into the world of spying. Fleming's first Bond novel, Casino Royale, was published in 1953. It was an instant success. Bond's adventures resonated with readers. They were captivated by his glamorous lifestyle and thrilled by his dangerous missions. Bond quickly became a cultural phenomenon. He embodied the fears and anxieties of the Cold War. He represented the West's determination to stand up to Soviet aggression. Section 4 from Russia, with inspiration real-world echoes in Bond's missions. Many of Bond's adventures were directly inspired by real-world events. For example, the novel Goldfinger from 1959 reflects anxieties about economic warfare. The villain's plot to raid Fort Knox tapped into fears about the stability of the global financial system. The film adaptation of From Russia with Love from 1963 premiered just weeks after the Cuban Missile Crisis. This real-life standoff brought the world to the brink of nuclear war. The film's tense plot, featuring a Soviet decoding device, resonated with audiences facing genuine Cold War fears. Fleming also drew inspiration from real-life figures. Bond's arch-nemesis, Ernst Stavro Blofeld, leader of the criminal organization Spectre, had chilling parallels with Soviet intelligence officers. Section 5. The Spy Who Outlived the War Bond's Enduring Cold War Legacy. The Cold War officially ended in 1991, but James Bond's popularity has never waned. He remains one of the most iconic characters in film history. His adventures continue to entertain audiences worldwide. Why has Bond endured? Part of the answer lies in his adaptability. The Bond franchise has successfully reinvented itself over the decades. New actors have taken on the mantle of 007. The stories have been updated to reflect contemporary concerns. However, Bond's core appeal remains rooted in the Cold War. He represents a time when the world was a simpler, albeit more dangerous place. Good versus evil. Democracy versus tyranny. Section 6. License to adapt, evolving with the times. While rooted in Cold War anxieties, the Bond franchise has demonstrated an ability to evolve. With the fall of the Berlin Wall, Bond's adversaries shifted. No longer solely focused on Soviet threats, the films explored new dangers. Media moguls with sinister agendas, cyber-terrorists, global criminal organizations. Each Bond actor brought their own interpretation to the role, reflecting changing times. Roger Moore embodied the suave, humorous spy of the 1970s. Pierce Brosnan ushered in a more physically dynamic Bond for the 1990s. Daniel Craig's grittier, emotionally complex portrayal resonated with audiences in the post-9/11 world. The franchise's ability to adapt, while staying true to core elements like the iconic Aston Martin gadgets and captivating storylines, explains its continued relevance. Section 7, a timeless icon, Bond's place in cultural history. James Bond is more than just a spy, he is a cultural icon. He represents a certain ideal of masculinity. He is suave, sophisticated, and always in control. He is also a symbol of adventure and excitement. His missions take him to exotic locations around the world. Bond's influence can be seen in countless other films, TV shows, and books. He helped to define the spy genre. He continues to inspire new generations of storytellers. In an age of uncertainty and rapid change, James Bond offers a reassuringly familiar presence. He reminds us of a time when the lines between good and evil